Hi, I'm Greg King, one of the evangelists for the Rocky Mountain Church of Christ in Helena, Montana. We're glad that you're taking the time to look at this video presentation on evangelism. Now, you probably are wondering, what in the world are you doing looking at these fish in a fish tank? Well, we're going to be talking about fishing for men. And Jesus said, if you come and follow me, I will make you fishers of men. We're going to be talking a little bit about net fishing. You're going to be introduced to some individuals in our life group here on Wednesday night, and just give you a brief introduction about how people come to Christ and how what their impression is of how they made a commitment to follow Christ and become part of our church. Because we want you to get the impression and the idea that these same kind of people are around you. They're your neighbors and they're your friends that you work with, and they're the people that are right around you. So you need to open your eyes and look at the people that are right in front of you. And I hope you enjoy these interviews and take some ideas back with you so you can be effective at leading people to Christ.
Well, Rusty and Al, we were friends with in high school, like you said, and we were really close to them because they were another couple that we could relate to, and we had a lot in common, and our friendship continued on till and it's in the present still, but they were kind of our example. I saw them going to church and was interested because I felt like something was missing in my life. And I talked to Rusty and Al, and eventually we came and visited the church. And I wanted something more because I still didn't really believe the basis of the church, like the Bible or anything. And I wanted to know more about it. So I talked to Rusty, and he said that you did Bible studies with people to really lay it out. Like they said, it really shows you exactly what it says and what it has to say, and that it is the truth. I really felt like it was just a novel or something, or not a historical document. So
sure.
And when I asked you, we set it up, and my wife wanted to do it too.
Yeah. And
that kind of got her started too. So
yeah. What was your first impression, Katrina, when we started getting together and studying? What made you want to do it?
Just how much sense the lessons made. They just made so much sense, and I knew that it was the right thing, and it felt like this is where we should be. So
yeah, it seemed like you were hesitant at first. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe was I reading into that a little bit too much?
Well, Corey had been talking to me about doing the lessons, and I kind of was pulling away from that just because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it. And then finally he said, well, I'm going to do the lessons, so are you going to come or are you not going to come? And I said, yeah, I'll try it once.
Okay, and then after the first one, what did you feel after we went to that first lesson? Who is Jesus? What was your impression at that first lesson?
Well, I was really excited, and I wanted to do the next one, and I couldn't wait for the next Sunday so we could do the next lesson, and I just wanted to get through them.
Yeah, at first it seemed like you were really hesitant, and Corey was kind of reserved. He was wanting to learn, but then it seemed like your fire got lit, and you sort of started being more aggressive than even he was. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I read that wrong, but that just seemed kind of how it was for me.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because we'd leave your house and we'd be in the car and excited talking about it, and after the second and third lessons, we're just like, our instincts were so right about what things are like, and the Bible really has it laid out for you that it isn't. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It isn't the way.
Now, what kind of background do you come from?
We're both Catholic.
Both come from a Catholic background, and Corey, your mom, you're sharing. She actually spent 7 years in a convent.
Yeah. And
but you never really had the Bible or really exposed to the Bible, and you really didn't know much about it.
Not really. I went to religious education when I was a kid, and I was an altar boy.
Yeah.
So
I was going to be an altar boy one time, but I didn't want to wear that dress.
Yeah. I just really rebelled from it.
Yeah.
In religious ed, I just really didn't want to be there at all, and I was the biggest problem they've ever had, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm not even like that, which is weird.
And then you guys decided, we went through the fifth lesson, you decided to be baptized back, was it December? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's been about 5.5 months ago now. Mm-hmm. And now we're hosting a life group at your house, and you guys have been just really participating in church, and you went through our new member class, you went through the maturity class. What's been your impression of going through the follow-up classes after you were baptized?
They were good. They were really good.
Yeah, because we enjoyed the Bible study before church too that we were doing.
The new members
Yeah,
class.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
sure.
getting that started, finishing the because there's what, eight
lessons.
eight lessons. So then Sean was doing those lessons with us and others before church, and I like that.
Great.
The Holy Spirit ones and
Super. Yeah. And then Corey's actually, you have been taking some turns doing, co-leading this life group. So you're learning how to lead a life group. And this is just an example of just ordinary people that they hear the Bible, didn't know anything about the Bible, and once they hear it, then they're baptized, and life starts to make a whole new turn for them. Anything else you want to say?
I don't know. I never thought like church could be so fun. I always pictured it as like, boring, because I actually would fall asleep at church when I was a kid, practically, and I just I've just enjoyed it so much, and find it so worthwhile. So we look forward to church now.
Great. Excellent. So this is Jason and Nicole Emnith, and this is Isabella with them. Isabella, say hi.
Say hi.
Jason and Nicole have been, you've been Christians about, well, you were baptized about in December also?
January.
January, okay.
January 20th.
January 20th. Wow, and it was pretty cold. We went up to your parents' house and used their jacuzzi, so we were baptized at night. So why don't you guys tell your story, how you started coming to church? Jason, why don't you start, because we met about 4 years ago, and it took a while before we finally sat down and went through the rest of the studies. And why don't you tell the story, and then you guys share.
Yeah, I've probably been seeking for about 5 years, and I did meet Greg about 4 years ago through a friend of mine named Donnie Smith. I've been studying the Bible, like I said, for about 6 years, and really seeking. Met with Greg and went through a lesson, really liked the lesson, but I, for whatever reason, just wasn't really ready to accept it. So I kind of just read the Bible and studied on my own. Nicole and I got together, and actually she had been a believer for a long time, since she was a young teenager. And we started going to a church that was introduced to me through a friend, and it was a nice church and nice people, but we just didn't stick there, and it didn't feel like it was the right place for us, and we drifted away from it. And then earlier this year, I ran back into my friend Donnie, and he started asking us if we want to do some studies with him or with you and come to church, and we actually took him up on an invitation and came to church, and then we started studying with you again, and it just stuck. It was...
What was different this time, or what clicked in your mind?
It wasn't any different with you or the church, because I'd been there before. It was me that was different. I was just ready. I think Nicole and Isabella had a lot to do with that. Kind of changed my perspective, and I started realizing that I had some real responsibilities to live up to, and realized that I wasn't going to be able to do it on my own.
Sure.
That I needed help.
Okay. And Nicole, what did you think the first time you came to church?
I liked it. Everyone was friendly, and we sat next to, I don't know her name, the lady with the long hair with the glasses. We just had another baby girl.
Natalie.
Was it?
Natalie, but do you know who I'm talking about? We sat next to a lady, and she was very, very nice and friendly. And then I took Isabella to the nursery, and Darlene was in there, and she was very friendly, and everyone was just extremely friendly.
And then you guys had me over for dinner, which you're my best people that I like to study with, because you feed me. No, but I came over to your house, and we would eat dinner, and then we'd go through a Bible study. What was your first impression when we went through that first lesson on who's Jesus?
I thought it was great, because you showed us exactly where it said in the Bible, rather than just telling us, and that's how it is. I mean, you showed us where it says so we can see for ourselves.
Okay, and then you read through it, and I know some of it, we didn't get through the whole lesson occasionally, I think, and then by next week you had gone through and you pulled some of the lessons even off the internet, I think, and went through a couple of them. Yeah.
And now we're doing them with Christine again.
That's right. Yeah, you're going through them again. Excellent. That's super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more the better.
Garrett, and then you guys took our new members class, and you're in the new Christians class, and then you took, have you taken 201 yet, our maturity class yet?
Yes,
I think
have.
you've taken those
Yeah.
as well, yeah. What do you feel about, like, Jason has also been kind of co-leading this life group, and, you know, so we got a bunch of up-and-coming people that are helping to lead, and you're also a benevolent servant in this group, so you guys are doing a great job. You've been helping with our benevolence. Give me first, just for people listening that are not sure where to find people like you, where would you say where to look?
On the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, I guess, you know, find somebody who you like, a friend, or even somebody that you know, but somebody that you admire or respect or just like, and you know, start asking them questions. I mean, that's how it happened for me. I started asking questions of lots of people. You know, I met you, and you know, got the ball rolling with me, and I worked with people that were Christians, and I just started asking questions, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Any closing words for anybody listening that might be great wisdom tips on how to win friends to Christ? I know you've been inviting people yourselves and trying to invite people to come to church. How hard is it to find people that are interested in God?
A lot. It's very hard.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah.
Very hard.
It's a challenge at times, but you have to keep fishing a little bit. Yeah, they're there, but eventually you'll find people like yourselves that are open. And I think since the middle of December, I was counting, we had about 20 people that were baptized in our church since the middle of December. So it's really encouraging to see all the new people and new faces. Anything else you need to share?
Just that it's the single biggest, you know, life-changing event that's ever happened to me.
This is Ristine on the left and Charlo in the middle and Emily on the right. And they are part of our life group. We're just doing this spontaneously at one of our life groups on Wednesday night. We have small group ministries going on throughout our church. Let me pick on Charlo in the middle since he's the center guy here. Charlo and I started studying, and you were baptized, I think, when, last August?
August.
Is that in August? Tell everybody how we got the study set up and how we started going through these lessons and what all occurred. How do we get that thing going?
I actually know Onawa and Rusty from school,
Okay.
and I see Onawa working one weekend, and I asked her, had gone through a rough year before. I just gotten my things back together, my life back together, and knew that I needed God in my life, and saw Onawa and knew that you had pastored a church, and just asked her what time they met and where, and told her I'd see her that Sunday,
And you showed up.
And
What was your first impression coming like that, a little bit hesitant to a strange church? What was your first impression when you came to church at Rocky Mountain?
it was everything I expected. I mean, just from the commercial, I just knew that.
So you'd seen our commercial on TV?
Yeah.
The top 10 reasons?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seemed
good.
like the casual dress and all that.
Yeah, okay.
Because, it's
All
most
right.
churches that you think of in your mind, suit and tie or really spiff up dress and kind of, I don't know, just.
But you felt like you fit when you came in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a little nervous. I didn't,
Yeah.
really know what to expect, but a few weeks down the road, it felt fine.
Good. And I remember you and Rusty and I got together at your house and went through a Bible study, and you were pretty ready at the time. You were open, and so we went through that first lesson, which is basically the fifth lesson. We just jumped to obeying the gospel call and counted the cost of discipleship, and you were baptized that afternoon, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or that evening.
Yeah, or the next day.
Yeah, the next day, I guess it was, yeah. And since then, you've been inviting some people to church. Tell us about what's been happening at church, and tell us about Traverse and how you got him to start coming to church.
Well, I had a buddy that kind of was on a rough track and came in across the country from South Carolina, and he came and lived with me for a few months to get away from his old running grounds, and I just tried to influence him the best way I could, and just show him that, you know, if you want to get your life in order together, that God is the only way that I've found out that He works.
Okay.
And
Right.
just invited him to church and got him going to a few studies, and he really got into it and got baptized.
Great.
I believe.
That's right. And then your sister also. Tell us about your sister, Starla.
My little sister, I just trying to be a role model for her. She's 13 years old, and just trying to show her that, you know, God's the only way.
Mm-hmm.
And we just did some studies together, and she got baptized too.
Yeah. So that's great. It's just a matter of somebody who cares sharing the message with somebody else who cares, and then sharing the message with somebody else. And since then, Charles has been on one of our commercials on KTVH, and as a result of that, Viola and Seth saw your mugshot on TV, and they said, hey, if Charles goes there, then I want to go too. And they came, and they were baptized in December also, I think, December or January, and they've been bringing people to church also. So it's a matter of friends telling friends telling friends,
Yeah.
and just that's how it happens. Okay, Ristine, let's hear your story. Now you're from Helena, but your mom actually lives in Toston, and you were going to church in Three Forks, and then David Ford started studying with you. And tell us a little bit about how you came to Christ, and tell us your story.
We just started doing Bible study every Wednesday night, and I didn't know very much about the Bible before that at all. I knew I believed in God, but I wanted to get to know Him and everything, and all about the Bible. I didn't know anything about the Bible, and so every Wednesday when we would meet, Dave would read from the Bible, and we had really good studies. And then I decided that I wanted to get baptized.
Great.
And then he told me about you and the church here, so that I could just start going to church here and the Bible studies here.
What's your impression when you first started coming to Rocky Mountain? I know it can be intimidating coming to a brand new place where you don't know people, but what was your first impression once you finally came?
I felt very comfortable. The people, everybody is very nice, very accepting, and so I felt really good.
Good. And we're glad to have you with us too. Christine's part of our life group, part of our church. And this is Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hi.
And Emily's been coming. Tell us how you started coming to Rocky Mountain. We haven't started the 8 lessons yet, but we're going to, Lord willing, pretty quick. Now that Nathan is here. Nathan is her friend from Australia, from down under, Sydney. So tell us the story how you started coming and what's been your impression.
Well, I've been coming since, I think it was either like middle of February or something like that. And I had gone to several other churches in Helena and kind of always left there feeling a little bit alone. And like I've grown up in a church and a Christian family, so it was kind of like I kind of had expectations of what church should be like. And I just really felt like nobody, like at the other churches, they weren't very friendly, and they didn't really feel, like it was kind of like everybody just showed up and, listened to the sermon and left, but nobody really cared about like the community of the church. And I mean, I remember just going to all these churches and just like, I think I went to 6 or 7 and just really felt like totally alone when I was at them, and just didn't really feel like God's love kind of shown through the people who were going there as far as like care and concern. And I remember when I came to Rocky Mountain Church, I was just floored by how caring everybody was and just loving, because, I mean, I walked out of there, I remember Sean, I think his name is Sean Peterson, and he came up to me and shook my hand and introduced himself, and I remember walking out of there just like in tears because I couldn't believe how like warm and friendly everybody had been, and just pretty choked up about everything, so.
Great.
Yeah.
And then you started coming to the life group also. What's been your impression of this group since you've been here?
Oh, it's been great. Just it's kind of nice because I'm from Minnesota to have like a family here in Helena, and just to study the Word with other people, because I was trying to do it on myself, but it's really kind of hard to stay motivated and keep challenging yourself with things, and so I was really looking for a small group. And that was the other thing, is that a lot of the other churches, it was Bible studies for married couples or for high school kids, which I am of neither, so it was a bit hard. But this has been great because, I mean, it's just for anybody and everybody who can or wants to come and study.
Excellent. Well, we're glad you're here. Well, that's this is kind of an idea. In this group, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mona's not here tonight. We've had 7 people that have been converted in this group and been baptized in this group in the last, well, since August. And it's just been a fun group. We have a lot of fun times together, and it's a great group. You really get to love everybody. And a couple weeks ago, we had like 20 people. But it's a fun time. So appreciate you guys a lot. And hopefully your mugshots will be all over the world. And people will see that average people are coming to Christ and wanting to build a relationship with God. So thank you.